So recording is going to start. Then after you will write your roll number in the chat box. Okay. It will be automatically recorded. Yes, I'm going to share my slides. So let me start. We are discussing the trade policy of the government. In the last class, we have discussed about the trade policy, that means the tariff, how the tariff is affecting the economy, why the tariff is imposed, what is the effect of tariff on the consumer, on the producer, and obviously for the government when it is a small country. Okay, so here we are going to discuss tariff for a large country. Okay, so if this part I have taken from Krugman and Obstfeld. Okay, so you can go through it, everything is there. Now there are different types of tariff, as I said. There is specific tariff. It may be the specific tariff. That means say 10 rupees per unit of commodity imported. Okay, so it's like that. The amount, the tax amount is fixed. Okay, it is not depending on the price level. Whatever price will be, you have to pay 10 rupees per unit of the commodity imported. This is called specific tariff. And there is one thing, ad valorem tariff. I think you know that concept of ad valorem tax. So it's like this. It is a fraction of the value of importable. That means if you are purchasing say 10 units and per unit price is 10 rupees, then you are spending actually 100 rupees. So you have to, here the tariff is like this, that you have to pay 3% of your value of purchase. So here you have to pay 3% of 100 rupees, that is rupees 3 as a tariff. Okay, so it is in terms of percentage. And specific tariff, it is not, it is the absolute number. And if you can understand, in case of ad valorem tariff, if value of importable is increasing because of the increase in price and all this, so the tariff revenue will also increase. Okay, so basically these type of tariffs are working in the economy. Now this, okay, and these are all the pictures taken from Krugman and Obstfeld, because it's very difficult to draw. I think it will be better because the diagram is neat. I cannot draw this type of neat diagram here. So look, it is the import demand curve and export supply curve. Very simple thing. Look, this is the first one. We are just assuming there are two countries. One is home and another is foreign. So home country is importing something. So everything, the tariff, the analysis, everything with respect to home. Okay. So now look, in the in the home country, this is the commodity which the country is importing, Q. Okay, so this is the demand and supply curve in the home country. Okay, this is the demand curve, this is the supply curve in the home country, and PA is the equilibrium price. So if the price is PA, you can understand there will be demand is equal to supply. There is no scene of excess demand, so import is 0. Okay, so the second diagram is showing the import. Okay, the second diagram is showing the import on the horizontal axis, and on the import means the amount of excess demand which your market, your domestic market cannot cater. So that is why you are going to the rest of the world. Okay, so that thing is measured on the horizontal axis, and the vertical axis is measuring the same price level. So if it is PA, there is no excess demand, so it is starting from A, that is 0. When the price is P2, then you have the excess demand of D2 minus S2, because your demand is D2 and the supply is S2. You can understand. I'm not going to details that why your demand is increasing, why your supply is falling and all this. So this is the cause, this is the amount of excess demand. Okay, so that you can import from outside the economy. So this is here. So the D2 S2 is the distance from origin to here. This is 0.2. So this is another point corresponding to P2. Similarly, if the price is P1, your definitely your excess demand will increase, and it will be D1 minus S1. Okay, and this is represented by, in the second diagram, like d1 minus s1 here, and the point is represented by 1. So if I just join all those points a, 2, 1, I will get this downward sloping line. So what the line is showing, that if price is changing, how my excess demand is changing. And obviously if price is falling, excess demand is increasing, right? So there is an inverse relationship. That is why the line is downward sloping. And the amount of excess demand is nothing but my import. So I can say that downward sloping line is showing the import demand. Okay. So this is how you are getting import demand for the domestic or the home country. Now you have to go to the export side. Right. Now you have to go to the export side, because if you want something from the rest of the world, someone must be there who is eager to sell it. So that part is called the foreign. Now in the foreign, what is happening? If the price is PA star, look, there is no scope of excess supply. So that excess supply is measured here. Yeah. Aha. Just a minute. Now look. In the second diagram, what I am watching, that S star is the foreign supply curve, D star is the foreign demand curve. This is the equilibrium. The price is PS star, so there is no excess supply, excess demand. Nothing is there. Everyone is very happy. So that is why in the second diagram we are getting excess supply as 0 at the price PA star. Now, if the price is increasing to P1, look, if the price is increasing to P1, then we are getting excess supply. How much? S1 star minus D1 star. So that is represented in the second diagram, and we are getting a point. Similarly, for P2, we are getting another point. So that P1, look, so if I join all those points, so again, just like the first diagram, we are getting the export supply curve, because the amount of excess supply you have, that you can sell it to the rest of the world. So this is what foreign country is doing. So that is why this upward sloping line is showing the excess supply of the foreign country. Okay. Now remember one thing. Okay, fine. So this is the thing. So you have excess supply, you have excess demand. So you have excess supply and you have excess demand, and correspondingly you are getting the import demand curve and the export supply curve. So these are the demand and supply curve of import. Now in the world, what will happen? You can understand the demand curve must intersect the supply curve, and you are getting the international market clearing price. Okay. So PW is the international market clearing price, or you can say the world equilibrium price, and QW is the world equilibrium quantity for that commodity. This is not at the gross level. For a particular commodity, we are getting this situation. So you can understand what is happening at the equilibrium, that is at the point 1, what we are getting, that excess demand from the home country is equal to excess supply from the foreign country, right? This is the equilibrium. Excess demand from the home country is equal to excess supply of the foreign country. So if we just make this side to that side and this, then we can get the world demand is equal to world supply. So that is the equilibrium. Ultimately, you must get world demand is equal to world supply. That I forgot to write here, but it should be there anyway. It is in the Krugman and Obstfeld. You can find it, the relationship. Finally, you will get the world demand, total world demand for the commodity is equal to total world supply of the commodity. Definitely, this is the world equilibrium. With respect to world, you have to get the demand is equal to supply. Okay. So this is how you are getting the world. Now tell me up to this if you have any query. Do you have any problem with this?
Ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, actually I joined a bit late, so can you please mark me 18 as 326?
So write it in the chat box.
Okay,
This is
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
automatically recorded. Huh?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, one more thing, ma'am. Have you started from import demand and export supply,
Yes,
or
yes,
is
yes.
there
For the
anything?
large country, for the large country, we are discussing tariff for the large country.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so there is actually up to this point there is no tariff. Any other question? Up to this point, it's very simple. Just the import demand curve, export supply curve, and the world equilibrium. No question. Okay, so let me go to the next one. Look, here in each year I used to draw this diagram in room number 8, room number 28 in the whiteboard. It will take a lot of time, but fortunately this time it's very easy to explain for me. Look, this is the home market. We have discussed all of these separately. Nah? The home market situation we discussed, the foreign market we discussed, and the world market that also we have discussed. So I just club all those three diagrams in a single frame. Huh? So what is happening? Look, in the world market, as I said, that one is the equilibrium, and corresponding to one, we have the world equilibrium price PW, right? So here also we are getting one as the equilibrium, and corresponding to one, that equilibrium price is PW. Okay, so that PW is there for the home and the foreign country. Initially, there was no tariff, na? There was no test, no tariff, no tax, no intervention. What happened? Just a minute. Is there anyone? Yes. Anindita, you are the latecomer, so write your roll number in the chat box so that it will be considered as the attendance. Okay. So here, what is happening? PW is there. Now remember one thing, at PW, this is the amount of excess. Let me use pointer. Yes. In case of PW, that is the world equilibrium price, in the home market, this is the excess demand. Okay. And in the foreign market for PW, this is the excess supply. Now, as it is equilibrium, you can understand this distance must be same with this distance. Okay? Because the amount of excess demand is equal to amount of excess supply. That is why you are getting equilibrium. Na? That is why you are getting equilibrium in the world market. So this distance, when you will draw this diagram, remember this part, that this distance should equal to this distance. Okay? This is the first thing. Now the tariff is imposed by the home country. Okay. Now the tariff is imposed by the home country. Now what is happening in the home country? To the domestic consumer of the home country, the price has increased. Okay. The price has increased. I'm not saying it is to the P2 because this is something different. So the price should be PW plus T. T is the tariff rate. Okay. The price to the home market should be PW plus T. Now, when the price is increasing in the home market, their demand will fall. Okay. Without looking at the diagram, you can say price is increasing, so the demand is falling. So the amount of excess demand is falling. Up to this part, it is very similar to the small country. But now comes the problem. It is a large country. Home country is a large country. So here, what will happen? As the demand from the home market is falling, it will definitely affect the foreign market demand because home country is a large country. So the demand from the home country is falling. That means for the foreign country, there becomes some excess supply. More excess supply is there because for them the demand is falling. So when there is excess supply, you know what will happen? Their price will fall. So in the foreign market, the price is falling. Is it okay? So what is actually happening? The consumer, the domestic consumer, they are paying tariff on the price which was charged and it was actually PW to them. So PW plus T, that was the initial price to them. But when that PW is falling, PW is falling to PT star. Why it is falling? Because for the foreign market, there is a significant fall in demand for their product. So they will face the excess supply problem and automatically their price is falling. So when the price is falling and it becomes PT star, so that PT star is also for the home market consumers. This is now the price of the importable for the home market consumer. PT star is the price, the new price for the home market consumers. So now they are paying PT star plus small t. Okay, because they have to pay the tariff. So in that case, it will be PT star plus small t. And in that case, it will be PT, that PT. Okay, so look, PT minus PW, this is less than small t. Because again, that burden of tax is distributed among the consumer and the seller. The consumer, that means the home market, is bearing the burden of PT minus PW, and the seller, that is the foreign market, he is getting the burden of tax by PW minus PT star. Is it okay? So this is the burden of tax to the home market, and this is the burden of tax to the foreign market. This is something extra if it is a large country. If it was a small country, that PT star will not arrive. It will be PW. Whatever your decision, it will be PW. That PT star will not be there. Okay. So this is the effect of tariff in a single frame. Now tell me if you have any query with this diagram. Any problem? Anyone is listening?
Ma'am, please explain that excess supply part again through the
The
diagram.
okay. I'm telling you that when the demand for the home market is falling, when the demand from the home market is falling and it is becoming this much of excess demand or something less than this, because the price for them will increase. So as they are reducing the demand for their importable, that will definitely affect the exporters. So exporters are watching. There is a significant mechanical sound হচ্ছে ঝি 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 ঝি. Is it from someone's microphone or is it from my own microphone? No. Yes, it is from someone else. Anyway. Uh, yes. Now look what I am saying, that tariff is imposed to the home country. So for the home country consumer, price of importable has increased. So they will definitely reduce demand for importable. As it is a large country, that fall in demand for importable has a significant effect on the supply of those importable by the foreign country. To them, the demand for their commodity is falling. Okay, so when the demand is falling, but they cannot change their supply at that time, so supply is fixed. For them, the demand is falling of that particular commodity, obviously. So here, what will happen? Excess supply for that commodity in the foreign country. Okay, so as there is excess supply, they will reduce the price because the price mechanism will reduce the price, and now it will be PT star. Okay, now PT star is a new price for the foreign market and for the world market as well. So in the world market, look at the world market. In the world market also there is excess demand. So this is the amount of given PT star. This is the excess import demand, and that will definitely increase the price to PT star. Ultimately, the mechanism will work and it will finalize the price for the home market at PT and the price for the foreign market at PT star. So there will be price difference, and the difference is the tariff rate. Now tell me, Any problem? Now look, at PT, the excess demand for the home market is this. And at PT star, the excess supply of the home market is this. This should be equal. This distance should equal to this distance, because in terms of excess demand, excess supply, the world market is again facing the equilibrium. Otherwise, the PT and PT star, that will not settle down. It will change continuously. Any other questions? So when you will draw the diagram, you must be very careful regarding the distance. Bola, if you have any question. No question. Okay. So I'm going to the next one. This is the effect of tariff for the large country. You can apparently it's very similar with the tariff effect of a small country, but it is not. Look at this diagram carefully. Look, the PW, that was the initial equilibrium price, the international equilibrium price. Okay, that PW. So given that PW, consumer is facing that PW, this is the case of the domestic market, the home country. Okay, this is for the home country. So PW is the world price. It was the price for the consumer as well as for the producer. Now, for the after the tariff imposition, you know, the international price is falling to PT star. The domestic price is increased to PT. Baba, yes. Okay. So here you are getting this difference. But still, PT, this is the price to the domestic, that is the home country consumer and home country producer. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me what I am saying? I am saying that initially the price was PW. So this is the price for the consumer as well as for the producer. After tariff imposition, the world price is falling to PT star. But PT star is not available in the home country because there is a tariff. So because of this tariff, both the consumer and the producer of the home country, they are facing PT now. No PW, no PT star, it is only PT for the consumer and producer right now. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Absolute silence. There are 30. Okay, Shushobon is writing. Look, Shushobon, I could not see that chat box. Okay, so if you want to give answer, give it verbally. I cannot see the chat box when I am showing my presentation. I don't know the technology that how to do this simultaneously. Anyway, so you have PT, you have PT star, and you know what is happening. So now initially the price for the consumer and producer is PW. Now price for the consumer and producer is PT in the home market. So as the price is increasing from PW to PT, you can understand for the consumer surplus loss is A, B, C, D. Okay, this total area. What about the producer? Initially, the producer surplus was this part, and now the producer surplus is this part. So he is getting something more. And what is that more? T. Sorry, it's A. Yes, it's A. So he is getting A. What about the government? Because government is imposing tariff because he wants a tariff revenue. So what is the tariff revenue? Look, this is the PT minus PT star. This is the tariff rate. That means per unit of the commodity you have to pay this. As your import is now this distance, so you have to pay this into T. Okay, so this is your T, this is your import. If you just multiply import into the tariff rate, you will get the area of this rectangle, that is C and E. Okay, so C and E, this total area is the government revenue in terms of tariff. Now look again, there is B, there is D, there is E. We cannot explain these parts. So these are B and D, you can understand, these are coming from the inefficiency. Okay, B is from the producer's inefficiency, D is from the consumer's inefficiency, and E is actually the gain of the government. Because in the home country, no one is giving E. This is something addition which the government is earning. Why? Because in the international market, the price is falling. So that gain is coming from the international market. Okay, so that gain of the revenue for the government, it is coming from the international market. Okay, so that is the explanation for B, D and E. Yes, this is what it is written also. Efficiency loss. B is the efficiency loss of the producer because he has to produce more now given the increased price. This is for the domestic producer. D is the efficiency loss of the consumer because some of the consumers are leaving the market because of the higher price. And the terms of trade gain. This is actually called, yes, this is called the terms of trade gain. Why? Because look, in the international market, the price is falling. It is now PT star. So what is happening? What is your terms of trade? Your terms of trade is price of exportable by price of importable. Okay. So you in your denominator, you have price of importable. Now, as the price of your importable is falling, so the value, the ratio is increasing, and the ratio is increasing means the terms of trade is improving. This is a very good indicator with respect to the home country for the rest of the world. Okay, so that is why it is called the gains in terms of trade. Okay, so E is the terms of trade gain. This is how you can explain the welfare effect of tariff. Tell me your problem. I hope everyone is writing in the chat box, no problem. Okay, I'm just assuming as there is no sound.
Ma'am, C. What about C, ma'am?
Where is C? This one. That's C.
Yes, ma'am.
This is given by the consumer and received by the government. Because A, B, C, D, these are the sacrifice of the consumer. A is received by the producer, C is received by the government. But E is something coming from the rest of the world, that is from the gains from trade. Terms of trade, sorry. This is from the terms of trade. That gain is coming because of increase in terms of trade. So terms of trade gain. So any other question? No. Okay. So now this is the next part, that is the export subsidy. Okay. Export subsidy, just opposite to import tax, that is tariff. And it is quite natural because sometimes the government is trying to encourage the exporters. So the government is giving some money to the exporter as if the price of their commodity has increased. Okay, so this is called subsidy. So now look, here, this is the diagram again considered in the home country. So in the home country, what is happening? Where is my pointer? Yes. Now look, this is the case, and initially the price was PW. Initially the price was PW. Given the PW in the home market, it is the case of excess supply. As it is excess supply, one can understand the country is ready to export this much, given the price PW. Okay. Now the government is giving some subsidy to the exporter. So what is happening? To the exporter, the price of the commodity has increased, right? So now the exporters are thinking, okay, now the price is PW plus S. Say S is the subsidy rate. Okay, so for the exporter, the price is PW plus S. Now the home country is the supplier. Remember, now the home country is the supplier. Now, if the supplier is watching the price of his commodity is increasing, what he will do? He will increase the supply, right? So he has increased the supply of its exportable in the world market. Okay. Now, when he is doing so, then as it is a large country, again, it is a large country. As it is a large country and it is increasing its export, so that means for the rest of the world, the supply has increased significantly. So for the rest of the world, as supply is increasing, it is the case of excess supply in the world market, right? So in the world market, if there is excess supply, one can understand the price will fall. So given the increase in supply of exporters in the international market, now the price is not PW. Now the price is PS star because of the excess supply in the international market. And this is the contribution of this home country. Okay, so when the price is falling to PS star, so this is also available to the domestic exporters as well. Now they can understand the price is no more PW, it is now PS star. Now PS star is the international price. That means this is the price they are getting when they are selling their exportable to the rest of the world. But after getting PS star, they will have the subsidy because it is declared by the government, announced by the government. So PS star plus that subsidy rate, if it is small s, then PS star plus small s, that will be PS. So this is the price which the exporters are receiving in the home country, and PS star is the actual price in the international market now. Is that okay? Tell me if it is okay or not. Is it okay? Hopefully okay. Now what is happening? Initially the price was PW for both the consumer and producer. Now the price is PS for both the consumer and producer in the home market. Okay. So now consider first the consumer. Okay. Initially the consumer was at PW. Now the consumer is at PS. So what is the loss from the consumer side? Consumers surplus. It is minus A minus B. Okay, this is the loss from the consumer side. Producer was initially facing PW, but the domestic producers are now getting PS, so definitely they are getting some, they are better off. So how much initially? That was the producer surplus, right? Initially that was the producer surplus. Now the producer surplus has increased to that level. So what is the addition they are getting? A, B, C. Okay. Initially, it is just below this line and now it is to the maximum, that is PS. Now, A and B, these are given by the consumer. This is the loss of the consumer which is received by the domestic producer. But what about C? Actually, C is given by the government. Because look, when the price is PS, you are exporting this much. Okay, you are exporting this much, and per unit of export, you are getting small s. That is the subsidy rate. So, what is the total subsidy expenditure by the government? The area of this rectangle, right? This is the total subsidy given by the government to the exporters, amount of subsidy. So, of this, C is received by the producer. And what left? D, G, F, E. So these are the net loss, the net welfare loss. Okay. Because this is the expenditure done by the government, but it is not received by either producer or consumer. So you can understand, obviously, if there is subsidy, then it is the expenditure, it is the welfare loss. And why? How much welfare loss? E. E is because of the fall in the international price. G is because it is, sorry, not G, F. F is because it is the fall in international price. G and D, these are the net loss by the government, which is not received by anyone. So these are the efficiency loss with respect to the government subsidy. Okay. So this is the case of export subsidy. Tell me your question.
Ma'am, ma'am, can you repeat that portion? Consumer loss, why is it A plus B?
Yes, because initially for the domestic consumer, the price was PW, right? But now, after paying that subsidy, after receiving the subsidy, the producers are charging PS. Because the producers are getting PS. Actually, in the international price, international market, the price is now PS star. But after getting PS star, with he will get the subsidy. So to him, the price is PS.
Ma'am, then ma'am, but the consumer is paying at PS star, so why is it a loss for him?
No, PS star is not paid by the home country consumer. This is the international price. This is the international price. Rest of the world are watching PS star. But domestic consumers are not getting PS star. Because you cannot import.
Okay.
Ma'am, what is the total welfare loss then?
E, F, G, light shade area, E, F, G, D. Because these are the expenditure done by the government, but it is not received by anyone.
Okay, ma'am.
No, sorry. Just a minute. Initially, the price was PW, and now the price is PS. So, yes, no. Right. EF is already with the producer and it is also with the producer now. But EF is the additional expenditure done by the government in terms of export subsidy, which is actually received by none. So actually, in case of, you can ask me if it is a, look at the welfare loss, it's a significant, no? It's a significant. So why government is doing this? Actually, here the objective is not to maximize welfare of the society. Here the objective of the government is to give support to the exporter. Because that may be helpful for the government with respect to the world economy. In the long run, they may get any benefit from that. So that is the initial objective. Any other question? No question. Okay. So this is import quota. So what we have discussed, actually we have discussed a lot. We have discussed, yesterday we have discussed the import tax, which is actually a tariff for a small country. Today we have discussed the effect of tariff if it is a large country. Then the next one is export subsidy, just opposite of the tax. And this is now import quota. Import quota, look, this don't confuse with those values, because in the book, import quota is explained in terms of a numerical empirical data. That is why those values are there. But don't confuse, without those values we can explain. Now, what is happening with import quota? What is the objective of import quota? What is import quota? Okay, this is the first thing. What is import quota? In case of import quota, government has restricted the amount of import. He is saying that whatever be the condition of your domestic market, whatever be the situation in the world market, whatever be the price, I am not interested about all those. I am just telling you that don't purchase more than this much from the rest of the world for this commodity. Okay, so this is import quota. Now, what is happening in case of import quota? Initially, the price was here. Initially, the price was here. So you can understand, if price is here, this is the amount of import. It is 9.26 minus 5.14. This is the amount of import at the world price. But now the government is saying, no, this is a significant amount of import you are doing. I am not happy because you are purchasing a lot of things from the rest of the world. That is not good for the health of my economy. So I am reducing your import. So he is saying you cannot import more than 8 minus 45 minus 8.45 minus 6.23. You cannot import more than this. That is 2.13. You cannot import more than 2.13. Okay, whatever be your condition. So in that case, if his import is restricted, you can understand, if your import is restricted, which is lesser than before, then it is the case of excess demand in the import market. Initially, you can import 10 units. Now you have to import 5 units. So this is the case of excess demand, because you are ready to import 10, but government is not allowing you to purchase 10. You have to purchase 5. So as it is the case of excess demand in the import market, so price is increasing for you. Price is increasing for the domestic market. So in the domestic market, now price is here. Okay. So this, look, here there is, first of all, what is the problem of import quota? There is no government revenue. This is the first problem. There is no government revenue. In case of tax or tariff, government can directly collect the money. Government can directly get the revenue. But here it is not possible because it is the quantitative restriction. You cannot import more than this. So that is why there is no such government revenue. Okay. But actually what is happening, government is selling the permit to the importer. Because everyone in the country, they are not importer. The seller, they are actually the importer. So government is giving the permit to those persons that per year you cannot import that much. That doesn't mean that you have to import everything with one time in a year. No, you may purchase your quota amount across the year, 10 times, 20 times, you can go there, but you cannot cross that limit. Say the limit is 100 units. So first time you are going to purchase 5, in the next time you are going to purchase 50, in the third time you are going to purchase the remaining 45. So this is allowed, but the sum total should not be more than 100. Okay, so this is how they are giving the permission. Now once that permission, that is the permit, once that permit is sold, from there government can earn the income. This is one way of earning of the government from quota. And the second thing, if government is the sole authority to import, Okay, so here also this is the amount of import government is doing. So that is how the government is reducing amount of import. So as the amount of import is reduced by the government itself, this is a sort of what can I say? This is the sort of return they are getting from the quota. Hmm. So this is how these are the indirect ways of earning revenue or earning benefit from quota. Hmm. But anyway, initially the price was here, now the price is here for both the producer and the consumer of the domestic country. So you can understand A, B, C, D, these are the consumer welfare loss, consumer surplus loss, and A is the gain. A is the gain. Hmm. And C, what is C? C is called the quota rent. Because this is the amount of quota that government can sell. As I said, this is a sort of permit which government can give it to the importer. So if they can sell that permit, then that C is coming as a revenue from the government. So C is there. But D and B, these are the again net efficiency loss. B is coming from the production side, D is coming from the consumer side. So these are the efficiency loss, or we can say the deadweight loss. Okay. So this is the effect of import quota.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, this is for small country or large country?
Large country. Any question? Okay. This is something I have not written anything here because I have to tell you the story. Voluntary export restraint. It is sometimes called as VER. Okay. VER is what? Say the domestic country is not interested to import a lot. If the what can I say, the political relationship between the home country and the foreign country is very good, then the home country can request the foreign country to reduce its export. Okay, this is just a request, this is a negotiation, I must say, this is a negotiation. And if the negotiation is successful, then it may possible that the foreign country has reduced your export. Okay, he has reduced its own export. He is not, he is saying that I cannot export more than this to the home country for next 1 year. And if he is not doing this, then the import of the home country will automatically fall because there is no supply. For the home country, there is no supply. Okay, so automatically its import will reduce. Okay, and what will happen if its import will reduce? It can, the price of the country commodity will increase in the home country. The producers will get the benefit. So actually, all the benefit of the voluntary export restraint is going to the home country. The restriction is imposed by the foreign country, but the benefit, all the benefits are going to the home country. Because look, if you can sell more, your income will be more. Once you are restricting your selling, once you are restricting your export, you are making some problem for yourself. But okay, this is only a part of the story. The total story may be something different. Okay, some other political reasons, everything should be there. So that is why the thing is like this. In your book, there is an example that there is one VER which was imposed by Japan for USA. The Japan was said that no, I will not export more than that much to USA for a certain time. So this is called voluntary export restraint. Again, look, this is another government intervention. Okay, we are actually talking about the intervention. No? We are talking about the government policies. So this is another policy for the trade. Okay. Up to this point, do you have any problem?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
voluntary, ma'am, in this case, if the export by the foreign country reduces, then ma'am also the supply is reducing, and then the price will change, and then there can be welfare loss, ma'am.
Yes, there is welfare loss. There is for the domestic and look for each and every intervention there will be welfare loss. Okay, so you must be definite for that. There will be welfare loss. But here the objective of the home country is to reduce its import. But somehow he cannot impose the tariff. He cannot make the quota. So he is requesting the foreign country to reduce its export. Okay, so that he can reduce its import, so that he can increase the price of the importable in its own country like this. It's very difficult, but it is happening sometimes. And if price is increasing, this is the price is increasing because of that intervention. In the home country, the price of importable is increasing because of the intervention. So definitely there will be welfare loss, like B and D. These are there.
Okay, ma'am.
No question, no? No other question. Okay, let me go to this diagram. Offer curve and tariff by a large country. This is the same thing which actually we have discussed about the tariff of a large country, but we will discuss the same thing with respect to the offer curve. So look, initially this is what we are measuring on the home axis, the export of home country. We are measuring on the horizontal axis, sorry. What we are measuring on the horizontal axis, the export of the home country and the import of the foreign country, and just opposite on the vertical axis. We know all this. This curve, that M1 is the offer curve of the home country and F is the offer curve of the foreign country initially, without any intervention, without anything. So you have M1 and F, so you have equilibrium and 1, and this line through origin, this line which is intersecting this point 1 is the terms of trade line. Okay, this is the terms of trade line. Now, if the tariff is imposed by the home country, from our our last class, that volume of trade will fall. That volume of trade will fall. Right? Now, if the volume of trade will fall, that means your export, obviously you are imposing tax on your import, the import will fall, but at the same time your export will also fall. So this is happening. That means your offer curve is moving like this. Now it is M2 and your equilibrium is at 2 if you are a small country. If you are a small country, you cannot influence the international price, then your equilibrium will move from 1 to 2 with the constant terms of trade. You cannot change that PM star, PF star and all this. But if you are a large country, you can influence the price because your volume of trade is falling. So that will make a significant influence to the rest of the world. And that is why the new terms of trade line will be steeper than before. That means the price of exportable that will increase as compared to price of importable, and you will get the new terms of trade line here. So this is how, with a single diagram, you can compare. Actually, what happens in case of international economics, you can explain same situation from different angles. You can explain the situation with the help of PPC. You can explain the situation with the help of offer curve. So this is one way where with a single diagram, you can explain the effect of tariff for a large country and for a small country. And with this diagram, we can explain the optimum tariff as well. We will explain in the next class. But this is how we can explain what will happen with a small country, that is 2, and what will happen if it is a large country, that will be the equilibrium 3. Okay. So your query? That I will explain in the next class.